Every family has its stories, but sometimes those stories turn into defining moments. Moments where one decision can change not only your future, but the bonds that tie everyone together. Today's story is about inheritance, responsibility, and a choice that could reshape an entire family legacy. I grew up in a big family, big enough that family reunions always felt like a small festival. My dad has 5 siblings, and each of them had a couple of kids. I'm the second youngest out of all the cousins, and while we've always been close in some ways, there's also been this unspoken undercurrent of rivalry. Maybe that's inevitable when so many people are competing for the attention, approval, and legacy of one set of grandparents. My grandparents built something incredible together. For years, they ran a successful company in one of the main industries around here. It wasn't flashy wealth, but it was steady, respected, and meaningful. When they retired, they surprised everyone by buying 360 acres of farmland. It wasn't just a retirement project. It became a passion, a way to live simply, but still put their hands into something tangible. Over the years, that land became more than just property. It became part of our family's identity. Cookouts were held there. Cousins chased each other through the fields, and my grandparents poured their love into making it a place that felt like home to everyone. But the farm wasn't just a casual purchase. It was the culmination of a lifetime of hard work. My grandparents had started from almost nothing, building a company that provided stability and respect in our community. When they sold it and invested in the land, it wasn't about wealth anymore. It was about creating a place where the family could stay connected. Some of my earliest memories are tied to that decision. I remember long summer evenings when the fields glowed gold under the sunset, and my cousins and I would run barefoot through the tall grass. The smell of barbecue, the sound of laughter, and the way Grandpa would sit back in his chair with a satisfied smile. It all made the farm feel like more than property. It was the heart of our family, a symbol of what they had worked their entire lives to build. But as time passed, things started to change. My grandpa's health began to decline, and maintaining the land became harder for him. Slowly, it was me, the quiet one, the one who didn't make a big deal about things, who stepped in. I wasn't asked to do it at first. I just noticed the fences needed mending, the tractor broke down, or the weeds were climbing too high. One by one, the small tasks became routines. Saturdays that could have been spent with friends turned into days fixing equipment. Evenings sometimes ended with me covered in dirt or oil from the machinery. And strangely enough, I didn't mind. There's a rhythm to farm work that most people don't understand until they've lived it. For me, it became almost meditative. Fixing a sagging fence meant carefully lining up the posts, hammering them down, and tightening the wire until it hummed. Repairing the tractor wasn't just about turning bolts. It was about patience, testing, adjusting, and listening to the engine until it finally came alive. There were days when I'd spend hours clearing brush or hauling supplies across the fields. My hands grew calloused, my back sore, but with every task I felt more tied to the land. My cousins, meanwhile, had drifted away from the farm. Some were focused on college, others on city life, and a few only showed up for the occasional family gathering. I never resented them for it, but I could feel the contrast. While they were out chasing their own futures, I was quietly shaping mine in the soil and sweat of my grandparents' dream. Yesterday, something happened that might just change my life forever. I went over to the farm like I usually do, this time to repair the main tractor. After a few hours of tinkering, adjusting, and testing, it roared back to life. Feeling accomplished, I wiped the sweat from my forehead and was about to head home when Grandpa called me into the house. He was sitting in his favorite chair, looking tired but sharp, with that thoughtful expression he gets when he's been turning something over in his mind. He motioned for me to sit. What he said next caught me completely off guard. He didn't just make the offer and leave it there. He explained why. Grandpa said he'd been watching me for years, noticing how I showed up when no one else did. He remembered the nights I stayed late fixing the gate, or the mornings I came early to mow before the sun was up. "You've got the heart for this place," he told me. "It's not about bloodlines or fairness on paper. It's about who will love this land enough to keep it alive." Hearing him say that hit me harder than the offer itself. It wasn't just an inheritance, it was trust, passed down from someone who had built this dream with his own hands. He told me he wanted to transfer 350 acres of the farm into my name, along with all the equipment. He said he wanted me to live there and run the farm when he eventually passed. I sat there stunned. That's nearly all of it. Out of 360 acres, I would be responsible for 350. The other 10, plus one of the 3 houses on the property, had already been given to one of my aunts. And even that decision had caused a major family fight. That fight had been ugly. Arguments over who deserved what spilled into family dinners, phone calls, and even social media. Some accused my grandparents of favoritism. Others worried about being left behind. I remember being a teenager, watching adults I respected raise their voices over land that was supposed to bring us together. So when Grandpa told me he wanted me to inherit nearly all of it, those memories came rushing back. I could already picture the looks, the whispered conversations, and the inevitable accusations. It wasn't just about the acres. It was about what the land represented: status, pride, and the illusion of fairness. The truth was, there was no decision that would satisfy everyone, and accepting the inheritance might mean painting a target on my back for years to come. At first, I didn't know what to say. My heart raced, and I could feel the weight of what this would mean. On the one hand, it was everything I had dreamed of, though I'd never dared to admit it out loud. I've always wanted to live on the farm, to raise a family there someday, to keep the land alive with the same care and love my grandparents gave it. But there's another side to it. Accepting this gift would put me at the center of a storm. My younger brother, only 16, would get nothing from the farm. My cousins, who are older, established, and probably expecting their share, would also be left out. Yes, they would still inherit something when the time comes, but the scale would be completely different. They might get 1/10 of what I'd receive, maybe even less. That kind of imbalance doesn't go unnoticed in families like mine. Grandpa explained that if I ever sold the farm, the money would have to be split with the rest of the family. He wanted to make sure no one could profit off his dream unfairly. But still, the land itself, the heart of everything, would belong to me. And that's where I feel torn. I want this. More than anything, I want this. But I also can't ignore the possible fallout. The fights, the resentment, the late-night phone calls where relatives would demand answers, accuse me of favoritism, or say I manipulated Grandpa into this decision. The truth, though, is simple. I didn't ask for this. I didn't even hint at it. This was all Grandpa's idea. I was the only grandchild who kept showing up, who cared enough to spend hours fixing things when everyone else stayed busy with their own lives. What Grandpa didn't know was that, deep down, this had always been my dream. As a kid, I used to imagine what it would be like to one day live in the farmhouse, waking up to the sunrise spilling across the fields. I'd picture a family of my own, kids running in the same grass I once played in, my partner and I building a life that was simple but rooted in something real. I never told anyone about that dream. It felt too personal, too fragile. Saying it out loud might have made it sound unrealistic, especially since the farm doesn't generate enough income to support a full-time living. But in my heart, I always hoped that somehow, someday, it would be mine. What weighs on me most is my younger brother. He's only 16, still a kid in so many ways. He hasn't had the chance to prove whether he cares about the farm or not. Maybe, given time, he would have stepped up the way I did. Maybe he's just waiting for his moment. The thought of receiving nearly everything while he gets nothing twists in my stomach. I imagine him resenting me years down the road, believing I stole the opportunity before he even had a chance to grow into it. That guilt lingers heavier than I expected. I keep replaying it in my mind. On one hand, this could be the start of my future. On the other, it could tear my family apart. It's a turning point. Do I follow the path Grandpa is laying before me, or do I step aside to avoid the conflict? Crossroads like this don't come often. On one side is the dream of a life he's quietly wanted all along. On the other, the weight of family expectations and the risk of resentment. His story reminds us that real turning points aren't just about what we gain. They're about what we're willing to risk and what kind of legacy we choose to carry forward.